The Newsday continues here on One News Now. I'm Charles Lejano. Low-income earners are raising concerns over the looming increase in PhilHealth contributions. Jenny Dongon has the report.
Ronel is a minimum wage factory worker in Pasig City. For a day's work, Ronel receives 537 pesos for his family every night. As a father of two who also needs to pay for all of the utilities such as rent, every peso counts. That's why he felt disappointed upon learning that PhilHealth will increase contribution rates starting next month.
Sa panahon ng pandemic, di pa naman po yung full yung pasok ng tao eh. Ngayon ramdam pa po namin yung sahod. Ramdam pa po namin na hindi sapat pa yung sahod namin. Sana po ayusin lang nila na paghawak ng pera. Huwag nang nilang dali sa masama dahil pinaghihirapan ng taong bayan yan.
Ronel is worried that his contributions may go to waste since the agency was involved in big corruption scandals over the past years. According to PhilHealth, they will now start deducting 4% from a member's salary starting June from current 3%. This will be shared by the employee and the employer. If an employee has a salary of 10,000 pesos, 200 pesos will go to the employee's PhilHealth record, while the remaining 200 pesos will go to the employer. This adjustment is effective for workers with a 10,000 to 80,000 peso salary. The increase in contribution is based on the Universal Health Care Act, by which there will be increments of increase in contribution rates until 2025. PhilHealth assures the public that the increase will benefit them in the long run, as some of their services include COVID-19 benefits like testing, hospitalization, and isolation packages. The increase in contribution also aims to extend member benefits, especially for mental and primary health. The PhilHealth targets to collect 189 billion pesos worth of contribution from members and indirect contributors. They said that the increase would have been enforced on January of 2021, but this was halted by President Duterte due to the effects of the pandemic. For News 5, Jenny Dongon, we are One News.
The e-sabong industry required a lot of employees to keep up with the demand over the pandemic. But now that their operations are suspended, what happens now to betting stations and their staff? Mobile journalist Kyla Macantan with the story.
As e-sabong comes to a halt, not only are cockfighting enthusiasts upset, employees of betting stations are now forced to look for a new source of income, following President Duterte's order to suspend e-sabong operations in the country. Betting stations in Caloocan, Tondo, and Quezon City are now starting to close.
Kahit wala pang inisyu si PAGCOR, nagsara na sila. Nung nag-announce si President, nagsara.
Some aficionados, however, see something good from the suspension of the online gambling sport.
Ang kinaganda dyan kasi matitigil na yung bisyo na mahirap pigilan. Kasi bilang sabongero, hanggat talo ka, di ka titigil.
But for this employee of an e-sabong operator, the sport itself is at the root of the problem.
Nasa tao yan, di ba? Yung mismong sigalero, may limit. Huwag nila isisisi.
According to the Interior Department's data, around 10,000 employees were laid off because of the suspension. For some agents, they have no choice but to look for another job.
Nakita ko na dito na hindi pang long term, so kumbaga sa akin, ngayon pa lang, mahanap na ako ng ibang diskarte.
Going jobless in the middle of the pandemic may not be the best scenario, but for employees of these e-sabong stations, they have no choice but to bet on a different livelihood as soon as possible. Mobile journalist Kyla Macantan, we are One News.
After the unofficial suspension of online cockfighting operations, PAGCOR says illegal e-sabong is now more likely to start proliferating. Diane Erica Jogno of PAGCOR's e-sabong licensing department told One News the chiefs that underground operations of e-sabong may take place once PAGCOR stops its regulation. She adds that PAGCOR had a regulatory framework, such as a banning mechanism to address social issues caused by the online betting game.
As to proliferation po of illegal e-sabong operations, that is too early, sir, to say that immediately illegal operations would proliferate. But that is a possibility, that since there would be no regulation for e-sabong operations, considering that there is a suspension, that is a possibility that illegal operations would proliferate.
PPCRV assures the public that they can count on the vote counting machines to deliver fair and honest elections. In an interview with the Chiefs, PPCRV chairperson Myla Villanueva said volunteers have conducted several rounds of testing and verification on the VCMs. She added that the software that will be used for Monday's polls have intensive backup systems to secure the people's votes.
How we do it in PPCRB is we trust but we verify. So I want to assure our public that so far it has gone smoothly. So those machines are then going to be sealed in time for our election on May 9. But also we have a lot of experts in PPCRV and also the political parties have their tech people who went through the source code review, meaning the software that runs these systems were really audited and looked at by many pairs of eyes of IT experts in the past months. And so far, so good.
We'll be back with more stories after a quick break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Charles Lejano. UAAP women's volleyball has finally made its much-awaited comeback. Marty Bautista gives us a rundown of yesterday's winners in this report.
After a 2-year postponement due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the UAAP Season 84 women's volleyball finally makes its much-awaited return on May 5 at the Mall of Asia Arena. It was back to the net for the UST Golden Tigresses, who coincidentally closed the last UAAP season before it was cut short due to the pandemic. This explains the energy exemplified by UST after dominating the FEU Lady Tamaraos in 3 straight sets for opening day.
Medyo expected na din namin, pero ayun nga, hindi pa din naman kami bumitaw hanggang sa dulo, and nandun kami para sa isa't isa. Yun naman yung lumabas sa game na to, at nakita din natin dun sa game na nagtutulungan din talaga kami. Hindi lang ako, nandyan si Camille.
Laure made FEU kneel behind her 14 points, 12 attacks, and 1 block. For the second matchup, the NU Lady Bulldogs gave their loudest bark against the Adamson Lady Falcons with a sweet straight-set victory. Young gun Micaela Belen registered 14 points for the fresh-faced squad. This also marked the first official UAAP game between the newly appointed NU coach and the team.
Okay naman yung perform nila, pero kasi half kasi nung nasa first 6, halos rookie talaga eh. So, in-expect ko naman na makakapag-perform sila ng maayos, malaking bagay na, pero yun nga, yung improvement pa rin. Kasi first, ko rin, nakasama sila, first game na, official game, nakasama ko sila.
Meanwhile, energetic volleyball fans graced the arena for the much-anticipated matchup between DLSU's Heavy Artillery and the defending champions Ateneo. After being a set down against the Blue Eagles, the Lady Archers wasted no time to get back on track, eventually winning the match behind 4 sets. Baby Jean Soreño garnered an impressive 17 points, 13 attacks, 3 blocks, and 1 ace to complete De La Salle's scoreboard.
Well, for us, usually ang hardest game namin is the first one, and it's very important for us. Of course, our team is new, so lahat ng adjustment talaga kailangan gawin. So nagkataon lang mga breaks din napunta sa team. So yun, kaya tuloy-tuloy, buti na nakuha natin yung panalo, nakuha ng mga players yung composure throughout the 3rd and 4th set.
For the last game of the day, the UP Fighting Maroons stomped UE to announce their comeback behind a 3-set finish. Alyssa Bertolano was among those who nailed an impressive debut by making 18 out of 20 points for her attacks with UP. But for Coach Godfrey Okumu, he's just thankful that volleyball's back.
I just want to say it's nice to be back after a long time, and we finished the game well, and we have no injuries, even though we've experienced a lot of fatigue, muscle cramps and stuff like that, but I'm happy that we finished well. Thank you.
The UAAP schools will face off again this Saturday, May 7 at the Mall of Asia Arena. First to battle are Ateneo and NU at 10 a.m., followed by a matchup between DLSU and Adamson at 12 noon. Afterwards, FEU and UP will go head-to-head at 4 p.m., followed by the final game between UE and UST at 6 p.m. For News 5, Marty Bautista. We are One News.
And those are the top stories at this hour. Join us later at 2 p.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on Signal Play. Just register for a free account at www.signalplay.com so you can stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Charles Lejano. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We are One News.